time we start speaking about briefly about how important it is for a person to know what's allowed and what's not allowed when it comes to guests on Shabbat table, or when he goes to a guest kitchen and sometimes he's being asked for help and she's asked for help, or sometimes she's not asked, but if she will not help it's not going to be the best relationship over there. So she wants to go ahead and help, but she learned for many years thinking that you're not allowed, for example, to open the hot water on Shabbat, right? And the truth of the matter is that it's not true. That a person is allowed to open the hot water on Shabbat if it is with tank, not tankless. You have a tank in the house, you can open the hot water on Shabbat and go ahead and help your friend to wash the dishes. Now, there is a common question that being asked by people whenever they go to ask to wash the dishes after they finish. There is a pile of dishes. Now, sometimes the Ba'alat Habayit is asking from whoever is there to help out to set up, to take out the dishes from the drawer, from the Megillah, and start hanging, putting away and setting up the table basically. Put the forks, put the spoons, and make it, the polite way. The spoon in one side, the fork on the other side, not just putting 20 forks in the middle and self-service. Is making it the polite way, the neat way. And like this, they have a question right now many times about borer. Do you know one of the laws on Shabbat that we're not allowed to do is not allowed to separate on Shabbat? That's called the laws of borer. מה זה borer? Livro. To separate one thing from a different thing. In the Bet HaMikdash, in Mishkan, in the desert, there was borer done by separating different rocks, different unpleasant things, undesirable things, from kernels, from chitim, from different gergirim that they needed, and these rocks and different waste that they didn't need. So they had to separate that. The Torah says whatever you needed to do for the Mishkan, you're not allowed to do on Shabbat. That's why in the Mishkan it's called Melechet HaMishkan. And on Shabbat, what the Torah says, Lo ta'aseh kol melacha. So the same word, Melechet HaMishkan and Melacha on Shabbat, they are similar concepts. So the Gemara in Masechet Shabbat telling us that where do we know which Melacha, which creations you're not allowed to do on Shabbat? Because technically when you eat, you also create energy. When you make a mitzvah with your wife, you also create children. When there's different things that we create as we go throughout the Shabbat. So if the definition of melacha means to create, and create it's forbidden on Shabbat, so which creation is permitted, which creation is forbidden? זה לא ברור לנו. That's why the Gemara is telling us, איזה מלאכה, which מלאכה I said that you're not allowed to do בשבת? The מלאכה that you needed to do for sake of the Mishkan. So that's called Melechet HaMishkan. So since in the Mishkan, they needed to separate the rocks, the waste, the undesirable things out of the rest of the things, out of the kernels, the chitim, the gergirim they needed. That's why on Shabbat you're not allowed to also separate things. But there is definitions what's considered to be separations, what's not considered to be separation. For example, let's say right now you have this chair. This chair is straight. Your chair is a different style, right? It's more like a couch. Whoever wants to fall asleep comes to shul, sits on this chair, hayav mitah right away, falls asleep right away. But this chair keeps your back straight, and it's a different feeling when you sit on it, right? Keeps you awake. So now, let's say a person, he has a party. Right now in the house, he has this type of chairs, and he has this type of chairs. They're all mishkabab, this from the basement, this is from the first floor, he has different type of chairs. And now guests are coming, he doesn't want to have the same different chairs. He wants to make it look nice. So she asks her husband, come help me remove those chairs out of this room. He's taking those chairs out of the room, counts as he's separating them out, and therefore it's not allowed? Says the halacha, no. It's not considered to be a separation. It's allowed to do it. Mutar la'asot et ze. So why? When separation laws start, borer laws start, only whenever you have very similar mixtures. Example, let's say right now you have different type of set of spoons. You have set of spoons that has a silver design, and you have a set of spoons that has silver plus a little gold design. So it's not right away recognizable to a naked eye. You need to pay attention to that. Something you gotta put attention to, that's considered to be mixed. But something that right away, as soon as you see first glance, it's right away recognizable. For example, this chair and this chair. Right away, as soon as you see them next to each other, you know the difference. You recognize the difference right away. Something that you recognize the difference immediately, it's not considered to be a mixture. If it's not a mixture, it's not a problem to separate. So if you're right now going to a relative and they're asking you, please put the spoons only, and somebody else will put the forks only, is it a problem that they separate the spoons and the forks from one another? No, because the spoons and the forks are very easy recognizable between the two. This is fork and this is spoons. But something that it's not right away recognizable, something you gotta pay attention, close attention to know the details, to differentiate between the two, that's considered to be mixed together. So whenever it's mixed together, let's say you have this spoons, 20 spoons you have. You have like 12 spoons set echad, and then 8 spoons set aher. So now you want to separate them in order to make it neat. Would you be allowed to separate them? It's considered to be borer b'Shabbat. Ma'usim says the halacha, borer is only whenever you separate, not for immediate purpose. But if you separate for immediate purpose, it's not a problem. What's considered to be immediate purpose? Whenever it's going to be used within half an hour. So let's say the mem comes from the synagogue, let's say 11:30, 11:45, 12 o'clock-ish, right? Depends on the Shabbat. So the wife should start, if she wants to separate those spoons out of the rest of the spoons, that they look very similar, she'll have a half an hour range to do so. But what if she doesn't do like this? Look what she does. She has a pile of spoons. She doesn't look exactly which spoon to pick up. She picks up whatever it is. She picks up, oh, it's this one. She puts it there. This, she picks the next one blindly. לא בוחרת. הבוחר בעמו ישראל באהבה. לא בוחר. ככה, randomly. But, יצא זה, this one? Okay, I put it this one, here. At the end, she has 2 piles of spoons. But those 2 piles of spoons were not picked one by one. It was not chosen. איפה זה ואיפה זה. It was as is. ככה, הרימה את זה randomly. And it came out to be whatever spoon it is. Then she will be allowed to put it away, even if it is not within half an hour. אז הנה יש לכם פה 3 situations of separation whenever we come to Shabbat. 2 of them are okay. 1 of them you have to be careful from. So one of it's okay. It's separating things that they are recognizable at the first glance. הבנתם? ישר רואים את ההבדל. Something ישר רואים את ההבדל, it's not a problem. Second case is whenever something, it's spoons and forks. They also right away you see the evdel immediately. The first case was the chairs. Remember, that's right away you see the difference. Therefore, it's not considered to be mixture. It's not a mixture. You can separate whatever you want. You're not limited with time. You're not limited with any restrictions. But whenever it is similar, very similar, over there you gotta pick one and put it in the place you want. Don't pick right now the next one that looks like this one purposely. תבחר מה שבא, ברוך הבא. לא יהיה בכוונה, דווקא specific spoon like this, and with this it's not going to be a problem of borer. אז הנה אתם רואים, sometimes you can go to relatives, or relatives can come to you. You sometimes more religious, sometimes they are more religious. אז לא רוצים שיהיה ככה, הנה עימות. So everybody will be בשלום, together. So like this, by being guided in the halachot of Shabbat, you can easy have guests or easy go to guests and be helpful, and without people like looking at you weird. What they're doing is a problem. It's not a problem. ככה אתם יודעים עכשיו. Whenever it is easy recognizable, there's no problem. Whenever it is a little bit more difficult, then you pick up one by one randomly, and like this, you're not going to have a problem of limitations of borer. Now, when it comes to what's the reason, I saw a beautiful explanation. What's the reason? On Shabbat, you're not allowed to do borer. למה אסור to separate the Shabbat? What's the big deal? Separate, what's the big deal? What God cares about if you're going to move the spoon like this or move that spoon like that? מה כזה big deal בשבת to make borer? So I saw a beautiful explanation. מה זה borer, we said? Whenever you have something that you like and something that you don't like. נכון? ככה אמרנו. It says during the week, ששת ימי המעשה, in job, you have something that is a good job, you have something that it is a bad job. נכון? In investments. somebody יביא לך איזה investment, זה investment על פנים, זה investment ברוך השם טוב. There is two different types of investments in investments, jobs, different type of tasks that a person will do throughout the week. זה יש פחות טובים, יש יותר טובים, נכון? כל עבודה ככה. It says, comes to Shabbat, we have to see on Shabbat 100% positive. Shabbat, באי נפש. On Shabbat, person should not look at negative at all. בגלל זה, how is it part of Shabbat? וקראת לשבת עונג. On Shabbat you're supposed to have עונג. מה זה? להתענג, שיהיה לך כיף. שיהיה לכם כיף. How a person is going to have כיף? If he every time is going to pay attention to the negative, זה טוב, זה לא טוב, he's going to put negative, he's not going to enjoy the Shabbat. So what חכמים said? Don't make בורר בשבת. Everything is good. אל תתחיל עכשיו לבחור, זה טוב לי וזה לא טוב לי. הכל טוב לך. ככה יהיה לך part of Shabbat is going to be enjoyable on Shabbat. וקראת לשבת, עונג. So that's why sometimes the Arizal says, one is the biggest violations, problems of מחלוקת, כעס בתוך המשפחה. When is the worst time of the week? Friday afternoon.
Before Shabbat.
תראה מה זה Friday afternoon? Suddenly the men changes, the women changes, נהיה כזה פתאום. למה? So whenever they get come inside the Shabbat, מלחמה להשם בעמלק בין שניהם. ככה יצר הרע, לא רוצה שיהיה להם שלום, לא רוצה שיהיה עונג, בלגן should be. Person is חכם, בערב שבת, extra patience, רבותיי. תיקח איזה ככה מים קרים, קח איזה, extra patience. You want to say something? Count until 10. Then say it. Think twice, because on Erev Shabbat could be much dangerous situations for the person to ruin the whole Shabbat. The Yetzer Hara wants to make balagan for people not to enjoy the Shabbat. That's why don't let Yetzer Hara, the evil inclination, don't let him fool you. Erev Shabbat, extra patience from the father and extra patience from the mother. ככה כל אחד יוותר לשני, יעבור ערב שבת בשלום, אחר כך אתה נכנס, שבת שלום, עכשיו זה שבת שלום. You know, the Arizal writes that the best place, אתה רוצה לעשות שהכל? You want שהכל? ברשות מוריי ורבותיי, ברוך אתה אדוני, אלוהינו מלך העולם, שהכל נהיה בדברו. The Arizal writes that on Erev Shabbat is very important that the table of the house should be located in the north part of the house. Look over here, is the east part of the room, נכון? The east is over there.
Yeah.
You should try to locate put your table in such a way, if possible. You don't have to break walls for that.
No.
If possible, shulchan in the north. The menorah, the head of the shulchan, yeah. The head of the shulchan should be on the north.
What if you're facing the north?
Not facing the north.
You
Location, father's location on the table. If possible, the table's location in the room to be in the north. So let's say in this room. איפה should be, יש לך פה זה east. Where is north? Over there.
East, north. Yeah.
North is over there.
Yeah.
So if possible,
Yeah.
to put the table towards this wall,
And the father sit over there.
and the father will sit on there like איפה שאבי like this sits, ככה תעשה את השולחן,
And the
ככה.
mother sit on the other side?
The mother doesn't matter, whatever she's comfortable with. This doesn't matter.
Facing south.
But the head of the house should be
Facing
that,
south.
right. The balabait sits at the head of the table in the north part of the table,
From the sun.
and if possible, that the table should also be located in the north part of the room. So two norths,
Next to the wall.
right? And the menorah, the candles should be on the south. It says, what's the reason with this? So listen to this. In Bet HaMikdash, Shulchan, the table, was Batzafon. The menorah in the Bet HaMikdash was Badarom, in the south. So what's the reason HaKadosh Baruch Hu said the table of the Bet HaMikdash, put it Batzafon? Lama Batzafon? He says, table is Shulchan representing Parnasah of the person. It says, if you want success in your Parnasah, in your livelihood, always make sure that your, whatever you do, always will be Tzafon. What is it, Tzafon בעברית? What is Tzafon? Mukhbe. The less people will know about the less eyes will be about your business, about what you do, about what you bought, what you achieved. The less eyes will be on this, the better it is. That's the secret, says the Arizal. Why Shulchan, which is representing the breadwinning, which represents the Parnasah, should be בצפון. מהמילה צפון תחליף אותיות, יהיה לך צפון. What is צפון? Hidden. Hidden means don't let people know how did you make a living. Baruch Hashem, Bukharian have a saying, Baracho bedul nash. The bracha is inside there. Don't ask questions. How can we? Unless it's person sometimes asks me, Rabbi, if you're saying I should hide my how do I make money, sometimes I have to publicize because I need clientele. Money goes man hide, lot of it. So it depends. If you need it for sake of parnasa, it's like advertisement. No, but if right now a guy comes to you, he says, listen, how do you make your living? I'm a mortgage broker. I work in a bank. Yeah, but what do you do exactly? Tell me all the details. Listen, are you planning on taking a loan? No, I've already bought my house. I'm not planning on any loan. So why are you asking this question? No, stam ladat. סתם לדעת, don't ask these questions. זה לא טוב להגיד. Yeah, technique. That's not good להגיד. Why? שולחן בצפון, which representing the parnasa, should always be צפון, away from people's eyes. The less you're going to show off, the less עין הרע is going to be on you. Not only that, it says, menorah should be בדרום. What is menorah should be בדרום? What does that representing? It says menorah represents the wisdom of the Torah. The wisdom of the Torah should be coming from the Darom, from the south. So what do you mean from the south? He says you should know, if you want your children to be successful in learning Torah, always make sure that they should not be worried about parnasa. In a young age, especially Sephardi kids, want to, they go to school, הם קונים סוכריות בדולר, מוכרים לחבר שלהם בדולר וחצי, שם $2, hustlers, פה קצת, שם קצת, פה קצת, שם קצת, אחר כך כל היום, they think all day long about business. חביבי, אתה צריך ללמוד תורה, אתה צריך ללמוד מבחנים, יש לך ציונים, תעודה, מה כל היום אתה So that's why a child should never, ever try to think about day and night about how to make more and more money, more and more business, because he's not going to be focused about his learning. He will be focused about business. If you want him to be knowledgeable in business, שיעשה business. But if you want him to be knowledgeable, he wants to be a doctor, a lawyer, a rabbi, a talmid chacham, whatever you want him in the future to be, tell him don't worry about the money. Sometimes kids drop school in a young age and they go try to make a little bit money on the streets, and then they end up in the streets also. Because they have to worry about where is their children, what they're doing. They go to school, what do you do in the school? How much business you do? What do you do over there? You have to be always separating. Shulchan b'tzafon, the business on the tzafon. B'menorah, the wisdom of the Torah, b'darom, should be all the way over there. It should not be kasha malaj, should not be mixed. Those two concepts. It's not only that. It says, do you know that your children are considered to be the next generation, which is the next fire? In you have a neshama. When somebody passes away, what do you call this? The neshama. What do you do? Leilu nishmat. You light him a candle. Lama candle. Ner Hashem nishmat Adam. It says the fire representing neshama. Who is the neshama that you brought to the world? That's your children. I saw a beautiful explanation why lo alenu lo alechem, children and not children. When somebody passes away, lo alenu. Somebody passes away, lo alenu. You have to sit 7 days shiva on him. Lama 7 days shiva? Why not 3 days shiva? Why not 10 days shiva? Lama 7 days shiva? So I saw such a beautiful explanation. He says when a person makes the child, brings the neshama down to the world, how many reki'im the neshama has to go through? Sheva reki'im, 7 heavens. So it says every rakia, every heaven gives another surrounding light. It's called or makif to the neshama. He goes down to the second one, second or makif. He goes all the way to come down to this one, to this world, to be your child, and inside your child, how many reki'im he has to go through? 7 reki'im. He says because of that he has 7 orot makifim, 7 surrounding lights. So that's why on the 7th, when a person passes away, the neshama doesn't go off right away. He's dead and that's it. He's in olam haba. No, he goes in stages. Those stages are happening every day. He says that's why the family is supposed to sit shiv'ah betoch habayit whenever the person was leaving. Sometimes the person leaving, let's say he lived in Queens, and the people sit shiv'ah in Brooklyn. What do you have to do with Brooklyn, habibi? Why are you sitting shiv'ah in Brooklyn? Your father, your mother lived in Queens. Why are you sitting Shiva in Brooklyn? You're supposed to be in the house that he lived. If he passed away in the hospital, that doesn't matter. Because where he lived, majority of his life, or the last year of his life, איפה היה חי? היה חי בקווינס. Cannot sit Shiva in Brooklyn. You have to sit Shiva in the same house that he was inside there. It says because the makifim are going inside that house. The makifim of the neshama. Every day, the Arizal says, goes to the grave, איפה שהbody, 7 makifim comes back 6. Second day, 5 makifim comes back, 6 makifim comes back 5. Until the 7th day. It says on the 7th day, that's what the Avelim getting up on the 7th day. Lama 7th day they get up? Because now the 7 lights of the neshama that came 7 riki'im down, go back right now to Shamayim. But in order for it to go back, you gotta put matzeva. Most of the time, people put matzeva after a month, after a year, the tombstone, the big tombstone. Says the Arizal, that's why, don't postpone the matzeva. Put it on the 7th day. Don't have to put no name, no date of birth, no date of passing away. רק תשים אבן. והאבן הזאת, יהיה לי מצבה. This אבן, put מצבה. How big of מצבה, he says? At least 3 טפחים, 3 טפחים, by 3 טפחים, by 1 טפח. This at least, it could be bigger.
No name, no nothing.
No name, no nothing. תשים ככה in the area of the head. על הראש ביום השביעי, on the 7th day. Before the sun sets, when the sun is still up, תשים את זה on top of the head. It says that's for the person, kavod, for the 7th day, the neshama is complete, now he's able to go up to Shamayim without any problems. עכשיו בן אדם לא ידע את זה. Let's say some people buy graves. Some people buy graves from themselves, for the children, to be buried somewhere in the world, in Israel, in here, different places. If a person knows, if you know that person is planning on buying graves, tell him not to buy graves for him and his children and put the tombstones already. Sometimes people put the double rock. ככה יש לו ולאשתו, אני והוא הושיע ענה. They put a rock ככה on top of both of them. You know what the problem with this is? Whenever a person passes away, let's say the father or the mother, one of them passed away. The tractor, בא ככה מרים את האבן הענקית הזו, like Yaakov Avinu was picking up the water, the be'er, the Evan on top of the bed. They pick up like this, they put the body of the person. Now what do you think they're going to do? Where are they going to keep that big rock? באמצע בית קברות? What are they going to do? They're going to put it back. And which day of the person's burial they put the rock on top of him? On the first day. And what Arizal says, how many days you have to wait? 7 days. That's why a person sometimes thinks, אני יותר טוב, אני אשלם היום. Tomorrow my children are going to pay for me, they're going to bury me or not. Who knows what's going to be? No. תקנה את הגרייב, כן, אבל אל תקנה את האבן. Don't put the stone, because if you put the stone, they're going to put it back on you before the 7th day. Because you got to be careful with that. You see, Rabotai, that we guys coming to right now to Shiurim, you understand this and you don't make the wrong moves. Sometimes you want to do Leilu Nishmat as children, you want to do Leilu Nishmat your parents, and you buy them already a spot, and you also put the stone on top of it. If you put the stone on top of it, you got to make sure they're not going to put it back before the 7 days are up. Because only on the 7th day, Arizal says the Neshama Mekifim are completed over there. So we see, Rabotai, the responsibility we have whenever we are bringing the Neshamot down to this world. This Neshama right now had to go through 7 Makifim down to this world. That's why it's so important that the women, how many days that she counts before she goes to the mikveh?
7 days.
7 days. That's how important it is for husband and wife to keep Taharat HaMishpacha. That the Chas v'Shalom should not bring any children to the world, should not have relations together before the 7 days are up. Because those 7 days corresponding to right now 7 Riki'im that you're going to bring down to Neshama. If Chas v'Shalom, a woman went ahead and she did something with her husband and he didn't do it without Kedusha, lo haya mikveh, lo haya 7 clean days, Shiva Nekim lo haya, Shem Erachem, the Neshama work, how she can come clean Neshama in a dirty relationship. Because that's to teach your children, teach your girls, your boys, but tomorrow you're going to go date. Don't date by touching your girl. You have a girl, don't date by touching the guys. Because this touching, Shomer Negiah, is going to backfire afterwards. Sometimes, a person gets married, and afterwards he has problems, Shalom Bayit, he has problems not having children. He goes to any doctor on the world, nobody can help him. Ma kara? What's the reason many times as Arizal is the problem? Is because they were not keeping Shemirat Negi'ah. They were not Shomer Nida. When a guy touches a girl, you have Baruch Hashem teenagers over here also in our community. You have to teach them. In the Shabbat, I have shiur for the teenagers. I tell them many times this point. I know you have hormones, you have different type of, thoughts, מחשבות, control yourself. It's gonna be better for you for long term, because like this, you're not gonna put on your neshama dirt. כשאתה נוגע בבחורה, בלי חופה, בלי קידושין, didn't go to mikveh, you're putting on yourself dirt. This dirt, tomorrow you're gonna ask Hashem, give me a child, give me parnasa, give me refuah, give me הצלחה, black, because the dirt is over there. You can do tshuva, you can clean that dirt. התשובה על זה, עכשיו הרבה עבודה צריך. לכלכת, שברת, עכשיו צריך לתקן את כל זה. That's why a person have to be guiding his children. Children go to the college, children go to army, children go to different jobs, colleges. Got to be careful with this. Tell them, tomorrow you're dating, no problem, date, it's mitzvah to date, to get family, to establish a family. It's דבר טוב מאוד. But date in the right way. The chas v'shalom shouldn't be done in a bad way. So the future of the children should not be damaged. It should be 100% b'derech haTorah. So he should have success. He should have הצלחה. Be'ezrat Hashem la'atid lavo. Now, Rabotai, this was the point I wanted to share, and the sefer is over there. If you can see behind the Gemara, I put the sefer not to lose it. Behind that box, there is a sefer over there. So,
Yes.
yeah, bring it. There's another section I wanted to read from the sefer. No, not this one. This one. Over there. No, where did they put it?
What are you looking for?
No, but I had a sefer here. Of the חינוך ילדים.
No,
I put it over here. אבל אני touch it. כן, יש לך? איפה שמו את זה?
I saw it.
אני saw it? טוב, תראי אותו. Meanwhile, you have questions? Until you find it?
I have a question
Okay, that's
about Shabbat. My wife had a question.
Oh,
She
good.
asked me. I didn't have
Your
answer for
wife
her.
is here?
Yeah, she's
יופי.
she's quiet, but she's
אני לא רואה, אני עיניים.
behaving. So she's they have the heat packs
מה זה heat packs?
that in
Instant.
on the
So let her ask, meanwhile we look for the sefer.
they have the heat packs, the one
Okay.
that in
Sure,
they
so
sell
where
them.
is it?
Yeah,
When
you press on it and it becomes hot. Squeeze it.
It warms up. Whatever is inside warms up.
Chemical
It's
reaction.
chemical reaction.
It's like
So-
a jelly. So
Ice
you put it in your
Ice
pocket and you touch it. No, not like love.
Ice
It's
pack?
just
מה?
like-
Ice pack?
For your hands, for your hands, for your hands.
Or you put it
אוקיי, נו בסדר, אז מה השאלה?
יש שקיות כאלה,
בשבת,
שאתה קונה
שובר אותו.
שאתה שובר אותם,
אז זה מתחיל
ליצור
לפעול.
חום או קור.
אוקיי.
השאלה, מה הייתה השאלה עכשיו?
אם מותר להשתמש בזה בשבת.
What's the
אתה יכול
problem?
לשים את זה בכיסים וללכת לבית כנסת. צריך לשבור
זה
את
לא
זה.
יוצא אש.
מה הבעיה? מה יש בזה?
It's too
כלום
chemical,
האמת,
when you
זה-
break it,
You're
it's
creating
very
something.
chemical.
You cooking with this something?
So you're asking
Cooking
if you're
your
allowed
hands.
to break
The
it.
reaction.
You cooking your hands?
You need to break it before. Then when you break it, suppose well, I don't think the new ones you need to break it.
It's a
No,
microwave,
it's
it's not
just
an
the
issue.
bag.
מה הבעיה?
It's like
open it.
gel inside, and the
Now,
gel
chemical
warms up
will treat
according
by
to your
chemical.
hand.
When you squeeze it, it breaks the two chemicals and it cooks inside the bag.
What cooks? What
When
cooks?
it cooks, it heats up the bag.
It's too chemical, that mixes,
But
too
it's for
chemical,
medical
that
reasons.
comes in contact and
If
the
it's for medical
reaction.
issues, I don't think it's an issue.
You don't break it, you don't cook it.
It's
You
just, let's
open
say
the
you want
bag
to go Shabbat,
and you hold it.
You
Ah.
get the phone, you want to put it
The
in
question
the
if it's
pocket.
creating
The question, are you allowed to put it in
Consider,
your pocket on Shabbat?
למה שיהיה אסור? למה? מה הבעיה? I don't see a problem with this.
גם אני לא, אבל
The two
אנחנו...
chemicals.
הוא מתחמם.
Yeah.
Rabbi, imagine if there's a
Here,
magic,
showed you.
That's
Showed
it.
you.
no, but imagine there's a magical chemical that can boil water. You just drop a pill and it boils the water.
Okay. No, if it boils water, will be a problem. But here it doesn't boil water.
It doesn't
But
boil
it's
it.
but it's a liquid
Yeah,
that
look,
boils
you can
inside.
No, but it's actually to warm your hand. So it's not, זה אין פה יד צולבת גם.
Okay.
להחמם את הידיים רק,
כן.
זה טמפרטורה נמוכה, זה לא...
I don't see a problem. I don't see a problem with this.
אין פה, you're not getting burnt from it. You cannot cook it.
כן. כן, ג'ונה.
I have a question. Since everything, you know,
The
the
Jewish
word Shabbat in itself.
Say it again, say it again.
The word Shabbat in itself.
Oh.
Shin Tav.
Shin Beit Tav.
Shin Beit Tav, which is Shabbat, Brit, and Tefillah. So what does the actual word? I mean, that's a combination of it. But what does Shabbat itself mean?
Shabbat means not to work, not to do any melacha. Lishbot means to, in Hebrew means to strike.
Strike. That's
Strike.
the Hebrew meaning.
Right.
To strike.
And by the way, that's the reason we have to read in the Kiddush. ביום השביעי שבת ויהי נפש. מה זה שבת? stopped from doing any work, any creation, any task.
Oh, to go on strike, I'm sorry, I
Fine,
thought like the
by
verb
Nafash.
strike.
Yeah, no.
I tried to fix it once. I got yelled at.
Like to strike, yeah, to strike, it has two meanings, I see.
Got it? And also the meaning of the word Shabbat is the whole world was created for the purpose of the Shabbat. It says that's why it's called Bereshit. Come out, how many letters you have in Bereshit? 6 letters. Bere, Shin, Yutaf, right? If you see what word is hidden inside the word Bereshit, Yere Shabbat. What is Yere Shabbat? A person, all the creation was purpose for what? Lir'ot, to prepare yourself, to look ahead, look forward to Shabbat.
So technically speaking, it's like the creator of the world created created the world and his creations in order to
For us to
spend
enjoy.
time and enjoy his creation.
For us to enjoy. When is the best day that we enjoy? Shabbat.
No, I understand for us to enjoy. But more so than anything, isn't it for Hashem himself to enjoy his creation, which is us as well?
When God's enjoying, you know? When we enjoy.
Oh, when we enjoy. Well,
Anytime you enjoy, HaKadosh Baruch Hu enjoys. Anytime you said, HaKadosh Baruch Hu is said. That's why it says in the Pasuk, Adonai tzilcha al yad yaminecha. Hashem is your shadow. If your shadow moves to the right, guess what? If your hand is going to move to the right, guess what happens to your shadow? Also moves to the right. If your shadow goes up, your hand goes up, your shadow is also going to go that direction. It's going to face that direction. HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, you know how I treat the world? How am I about the world? However you are about the world. If you are happy with my world, I'm happy with the world. If you are upset about the world, I'm upset about the world. So if a person wants to get something out of a king, he wants to catch the king on a good mood or in a bad mood. So in order for us to get something from the King of Kings, Melech Malchei HaMelachim, we have to make him in a good mood or in a bad mood? Good mood. What makes him to be in a good mood? When we're in a good mood. Because he is our shadow.
But in essence, he enjoys it only when we appreciate it, right?
Exactly.
Right.
I'll tell you one thing. If you couldn't find that sefer, I prepared it for you, and I put the sefer over there. Maybe it fell behind the closet. Huh? Maybe it's there. So I'll tell it to you something that it's the drive to appreciation, which is also important to teach to your kids. What is number one thing that will make a person say thank you? Let's say somebody right now held the door for you. You're walking inside a certain office. מישהו החזיק את הדלת. What is the nature of a person to say?
Thank you.
Thank you. How can I make my children, myself first of all, say thank you, but not from the mouth, also from the heart? איך עושים את זה? How can I turn people that I'm surrounded with, and turn myself first, to be able to appreciate, אבל באמת, לא רק להגיד thank you מהשפה ולחוץ, just to say it, אבל באמת בלב. This woman, this man, this child, this neighbor, this friend did to me something, I want to appreciate it. How can I have that? What's the drive to gratitude?
By helping others.
Huh?
By doing for others and helping others.
By helping others? It's a good question. It's a good point. But right now, let's say you help right now Itzhak. Tomorrow, Itzhak will say thank you to you. How can he increase the level of the appreciation feelings?
Humbleness? No.
You're touching upon a point.
Oh, okay.
We're touching upon a point. Listen to this. Rabbi Nachman in Breslev says, the drive to gratitude is the feeling in our heart that whoever did to me something does not owe me anything. Whenever we feel that this person right now made me chai, right? How can I say thank you from deeper part of my heart, not just from the mouth? Thank you. Toda. Rather go deeper balev. I mamash feel it in my heart that I said thank you to him.
You return the favor, do something nice for them also.
This will be the result, but how do I get to the feeling first? Says Rabbi Nachman, only when you feel that this person does not owe you nothing, and he did to you a favor, now you will feel the thank you in your heart. The thank you in your mouth will come from your heart. There is a story in Israel. Maybe you heard that story. It was a very famous story in Israel of a bus driver that came to a Motzei Shabbat. Was in Bnei Brak. They were supposed to get a ride after Shabbat. All the people in Israel, it's very dependent on buses. Public transportation is very big in Israel.
There's no subway.
There is no subway, right? But now, in those times, there was no such a common subway. So Motzei Shabbat, you know what it is to go out with a family, 5, 6, 7, 8 kids, and everybody crying after Shabbat. They're all going to go sleep, shower, get to their routine, to the schedule of their regular days. And the families standing on the Batahana in the bus station, and the bus driver doesn't come. מה זה? שעה 8 היה צריך לבוא, or שעה 8:30, 8:30 already. He doesn't come. We're half an hour late. People start calling up to the Tahana Merkazit. What's going on? Where's the bus driver? What's going on? Make a long story short, the bus driver shows up at 9:30. The kids are already hungry, tired, want to sleep. The mothers are all on fire, already so upset. Where's the bus driver? 9:30, they were supposed to get the route Kav Arba, route number 4. They see a bus coming. But they see the route is number 14. So, after an hour and a half of waiting here, we told finally the bus came and it's not our route. The Kav Arba is a Kav Arba. So the bus driver passes by. He says, a lot of people there. He says, listen guys, Makapo, so many people, what's going on? He says, wow. Listen, bus driver, can you do us a favor? Bavakasha, ma. We're waiting over here already an hour and a half. The bus driver is late. Number 4. Can you please call up your place? Help us. Do something about it. I said, no problem. I'll help you. He calls up the Tahana Merkazit. Talks on the phone. Say, guys, today is your luckiest day of your life. I said, I just asked from the guy in charge that I should change my route. Anyway, I didn't have so many people. I'm going to change my route from number 14 to number 4. חצי הנחה, חצי חינם, בשבילך. מה באמת? Yeah. It says the whole people came to the bus. The whole time they're traveling in the bus, כולם ברכות והצלחות. Hashem bless you. תודה רבה לך. God bless you. You saved us. Oh, what would happen with us? So much time we was waiting. Kids are hungry, tired. Hi. Everybody came to the destination. כולם יצאו came out of the bus. One guy asked him, said, listen, what made you do this, such a big mitzvah, you know? I said, listen, I'll tell you the truth. I was supposed to be number 4. So what'd you do? He said, something happened Motzei Shabbat, I couldn't make it on time. So already half an hour late. By the time I made this, then my boss calls me, listen, people call me, where are you? Makara. He said, all these religious people, עכשיו יקללו אותי, will give me curses, where are you? Half an hour, will you late? Kids are hungry, tired. I'm afraid of this, the religious people curses. I didn't want to get on, I didn't want to go to the route. So I was thinking, what am I going to do? I want to save the situation. מה אני אעשה? He said, you know what? What makes people upset? When they feel they deserve and they didn't get. So I'm going to make the situation, make them feel that they don't deserve. I did them a favor. And an hour and a half right back, instead of being full of klalot, curses, and who knows what bad energy, was all with blessing. תראה את החופה של הילדים שלך עד 120, פרנסה, ישועה, רפואה, הכל טוב. So what changed, Rabotai? The approach of the people, the way they looked in the situation. Whenever they came on the bus and came off the bus, did they say thank you to this bus driver from the heart or just from the mouth? Yeah. From the heart. They feel he saved our situation. What changed? Your perspective on the situation. Whenever, Rabotai, this situation happens between husband and wife, between husband and children, the father and children, mother and children, why many times we don't feel the appreciation towards we got something? What's the answer? The root of lacking appreciation for benefits we have in our lives starts when a person feels the ga'ava, the ego. She has to put me food on the table. If she doesn't put food on the table, what did I get married for? And what does she feel? Listen, if he doesn't give me A, B, C, D, what did I get married for? So of course, he bringing the paycheck. So the relationship is based on what he's chayav and what she is chayav. Understand? Everything is what he's obligated for and what she is obligated for. So there is never be'emet ahava and ahva between the husband and wife. And whenever there is no ahava, no love between the husband and wife, right away, who gets the biggest effect? Children. So the biggest kids education you can have for a better future of your children is to have shalom bayit between you and your wife. And how do you maintain shalom bayit for many years to come? Always have the feeling, my wife doesn't owe me nothing and my husband doesn't owe me nothing. Whenever your husband is going to do the smallest thing, he saved the house, he saved your life. Whatever the wife did for you, the smallest thing, she saved your life. Whenever you feel like this, your feelings towards your wife will be totally different. The feelings between the husband and wife will be totally different, will be improved. Same thing, Rabotai, is by the children. If your child right now cleaned your room, cleaned her room, cleaned his room, what is usually the response of the parents? Good job. From here or from here? Where is the good job coming from? Mipo. How can I improve it that it should come from here? Imagine that there are parents that they have children that they ask 3 million times to clean the room. Maybe after the 3 millionth time was said, he'll put the blanket halfway through on the bed. Your child, Baruch Hashem, put the blanket, put the shoes, put the homework, put the toys, put hakol כמו שצריך. Wow, what a good child I have. Whenever, Rabotai, you feel that nobody owes you shum davar, klum, around you, not your spouse and not your children, your level of appreciation and level of happiness automatically grows up. איפה זה מתחיל? By your personal גאווה. לא תרגיש אדם גאווה. אם אדם מרגיש גאווה, how do you know if you have גאווה or no? How do you know? What's the indicator? What's the thermometer? מה שמים שנדע? יש לנו גאווה או אין לנו גאווה? Well, how do you find out? If you have ego or no?
You feel like you're better than somebody else.
That's one way. That's one way. Whenever you feel that you are better than somebody else, automatically you feel that you are important. מה זה? אתה יודע מי אני? Who am I? Automatically. It could be in religion, it could be in cooking, it could be in treating better. Or if you feel that you automatically you treat somebody else better than, I am a better host than somebody else. I know how to host guests. עצלנית זאתי, לא עושה כלום. I know. The moment you feel like that, you should know of automatically a person has ga'ava in his heart. And whenever there is ga'ava, there is never simcha. Ga'ava and simcha are two opposites. Never happiness will be on a person that he has ga'ava. Because ga'ava root is in sheker. It doesn't exist. The root of ga'ava, it's imaginations. And simcha is only whenever there is real happiness. The real happiness is whenever you are very, very humble. And how do you know if you're humble? The one way is, as Asaf said, how? When you don't feel that you're better than somebody else. Not in business, not in profession. You don't feel better. Let's say right now, a dentist cannot look on the shoemaker and say, he is better than me. Better than you in what? Huh? Of course he's better than a shoemaker, and you're better than him in being a dentist. It's two different jobs. But whenever we say you have to feel that somebody else is better than you, kol adam yeh gadol mimcha be'enecha, is in midot. Is in midot, is in character traits. Always look that somebody else is better than you in a character traits. Today I was sitting learning. בא אחד עם איך זה נקרא? של הג'וקים הזה, איך זה נקרא? איך? Exterminator.
Yeah.
Why? The moment I saw his face, בא היה לי לעקי. Piercings all over. פה, יש לו עגיל מפה עד לכאן, כזה אחד. All all tattooed. His eyes looked so weird. אני אומר לך, כאילו יצא מגיהנום הבן אדם הזה. כזה מפחיד, וואו. אני ככה יושב לומד, and the guy that was over there, he volunteers. There's one guy volunteers, and then the exterminator came. This guy volunteers. He's such David, remember this David?
Mm-hmm.
I'm telling you, tzaddik נסתר הבן אדם הזה. You know him? Ashke, yeah. Ashkenaz. You know how much attention he gave him? Again?
214.
I know that. You know how much attention he gave him? Now, he's talking to him. I'm sitting at this part of the table. They sit over there on that part of the table. Now they're talking loud. This guy talks loud. And he talks about right now what his childhood, what public school he went to, where did he graduate. Habibi, אני מנסה ללמוד פה, שיגעת לי את השכל, go. Then I was thinking, let's kick the positive istaklut. Instead of looking at this guy and how he bothers me, I looked at David in my mind. I said, איזה צדיק David, huh? How he's sitting and listening to this guy. I would never have the patience to do that. איזה צדיק. Nature is, מה זה, אני לומד תורה, I'm better than everybody else. That's גאווה. How should you look at this? איזה צדיק הבן אדם ההוא, תראה כמה attention he gives to this guy. And he even talks to him. I could not even look at him. He talks to him and he gives him attention. Yeah, well, what about this? You know this person? You know that's cool, yeah? Like he grew up together with him. I said, wow, what a tzaddik it is. Like this, by working on this midah, it's called midat ha'anava. In other things, a person could be better. Let's say he's a better builder, he's a better investor, he's a better dentist, he's a better doctor. But this is not midot. This is talent that Hashem gave you to be a builder, to be an investor, to be a salesman. It's a talent. It's a matana shekibalta. But midot is something you have to develop. Character traits, something you have to work on. And whenever you are working on your character traits, the goal to achieve is always anava. One time, Rav Zamir Cohen also said a very beautiful way. He writes in the Sefer, he writes that there is, if you had to say in short, all the midot tovot, he said like this. He says all midot tovot, all good character traits, are branches that comes out of a trunk called humility. The roots of anava, of humility, it's called emet. Midata emet, the truth. If you had to summarize all the bad character traits, Adam kamtzan, ka'asan, shakran, ganav, gavt, all the bad midot, where are they coming from? What trunk? Ga'ava. What is the root of ga'ava? Sheker. So it goes like this: Sheker, emet, ga'ava, anava. All bad midot, all good midot. This out of those two trees. It says this is the tree of life and this is the tree of Etz HaMavet. A person that starts in this tree, you should know that you're always going to end up in bad situations in life. You're never going to be happy. You're never going to be satisfied with bishum davar. Lo meshana what you're going to have in life. You're going to have money. You're going to have children, boys, girls, marriages, grandchildren, houses. Ma she'la רוצה יהיה. Kol tuva ha'olam yeh lecha. But if you're not going to, person not going to work on his anava, he's never going to be besimcha. Because simcha is the root of it, is always to be next. It's next to anava. So same thing, Rabotai, is our self-example to our children. You know, Rabbi Arush, Rav Shalom Arush, has a sefer on chinuch yeladim. It's a purple sefer, purple book on children's education. I read this sefer with my wife. It's good to read this type of sefarim always with your wife. You know why? There is something to talk about, something you both benefit from, and it's not like, sometimes she talks to him, and she's talking to him, הוא לא מקשיב, אני עייף, שיגעת לי את השכל, את יכולה לעשות את זה קצת יותר קצר, maybe, give me the bullet points of your conversation. Sometimes he's talking to her about the different investments, businesses, houses, real estate, כל מיני דברים, and she's not interested in this. So there is very hard to find a common conversation that the husband and the wife, and also it's involved with Torah and midot tovot in one topic. איזה כזה topic יש? Huh? Only chinuch yeladim. That's why every time, whenever I have to prepare your class, chinuch yeladim, always who is the partner I sit with? Who's my havuta? My wife. Together with her, קוראים את הספר. She benefits, I benefit. There is quality time together. There is something benefits both of us, and there is something that will benefit tomorrow even other people. That's why try always with your husbands and the wives together to read Sefer of Chinuch Yeladim, of kids education. Over there, he writes, I'm telling you, more than half of the book, the first half of the book, is about how you are the self-example for the kids. So if a person right now is cursing out on the phone his client, he's cursing out on his phone somebody, tomorrow he tells his son, לא יפה ככה לקלל, לא יפה ככה לצעוק. לא יפה, מה עשית אתמול? מה עשית לפני חצי שעה? Sometimes a person also lies to the children, lies in front of the children. Somebody picks the phone, calls up, he gives the phone to his child. Abba is not home. Abba is not home. He tells the child to lie. Tomorrow when the child lies, what does he say to the child? למה אתה משקר? אסור לשקר. Not good to lie. Abba, what did you do half an hour ago? You did the same thing. When it's for your favor, it's okay. For my favor, it's not okay. Benefits you, it's okay. Benefits me, not okay. למה ככה? So that's why, רבותיי, a person has to be working on himself first. טול קורה מבין עיניך, טול קיסם מבין שיניך. קודם כל, a person has to work on himself. He will be a good example for the children tomorrow, that the children see how Abba said to my mom, thank you. Mommy put the food on the table. Wow, איזה שבחים, איזה ברכות קיבלה האמא, איזה thank you. You feel the thank you is coming from the heart of the Abba. למה? Because Abba worked on his ga'ava. He put down, he became more anav. When you become more anav, you feel nobody owes me nothing. I am under a big chesed that I have such a good wife. I have such a good children. I have such a good husband. Like this, the husband has to think about his wife. The wife has to think about the husband. And like this, we have to think about our children. When you constantly will remember, nobody owes me anything. And everything I'm getting done, it's a favor they're doing for me. It's something extra they're doing for me. They're doing chesed with me. What a good children I have. You will be happy. Your wife will be happy. And your children will be happy. And the whole family, Rabotai, grows up healthy family. Whenever hakol nimtza be'ahava, depends on our anava, our humility. Be'ezrat Hashem, we should be successful in this. And HaKadosh Baruch Hu is going to send bracha to our houses. The husband should love the wives. The wife should love only their husband. And the children should grow up with a healthy family. Baruch Adonai le'olam. Amen ve'amen.
So if you know your child is not going to do something, you shouldn't even ask from the beginning.
In certain situations, yeah. He talks about it in the
You're
Sefer.
going to get mad. You're going to get mad. He's not going to do it anyway. So
Yeah. In certain situations, yeah. It's like you're asking from a person that cannot pick up 50 pounds to go ahead and pick it up.
Take out the garbage.
I'm saying example. Example. If you
gotta take it with you.
there is rules how to treat this. Be'ezrat Hashem, we're going to see this in the next classes. Baruch Adonai le'olam. Amen ve'amen. I see.